I don't think you can learn to become an expert. I think what
Hmm.
you do is you just never stop learning. And then eventually, if you grind away at that enough, maybe then your peers will start to view you
Yeah.
as an expert.
So like going into like learning to be an expert, one of the things I was really fascinated about getting you on as well as talking about training was that your level of knowledge is outstanding. I think no one can question that. Like, what are your sort of like professional development tips? How have you become the expert that you are today in terms of training, nutrition, and everything else?
Well, let me start by saying I don't think you can learn to become an expert. I think what
Hmm.
you do is you just never stop learning. And then eventually, if you grind away at that enough, maybe then your peers will start to view you
Yeah.
as an expert. But you can't just be like, I want to be an expert. What are the things that I have to do? Because to be a real expert, you have to understand that the target will always be moving, right? Like these, to be an expert means that you have to be following the innovations of the field. So it's a never ending pursuit, right? Like you might, like from a business perspective, you might be able to reach a certain level where it's just like, okay, at a particular moment in time, I could maybe be considered an expert or really knowledgeable on a specific thing. But if you haven't got there with the habit of this is just going to be an ongoing thing, that's when you quickly create your own glass ceiling. And I see that happen to people all of the time where they think, okay, I just need to get to where XYZ person is, but that person is, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years ahead of you. And then by the time they get there, that's no longer the place to be. That's no longer what an expert is. And so I don't think that you can decide like, hey, I just want to, accomplish XYZ things. Like I want to get a degree or whatever. Um, I think the thing that has really helped me is just my obsession with wanting to continue to learn even at this stage in my career. And the thing is it becomes more and more challenging because eventually you run out of classes to take, you run out of courses to take. You start looking at the research and be like, okay, like is anybody going to do, like how many interesting papers are going to come out this year after you've read so many of the papers, especially how many papers are going to come out that are actually going to change or add something instead of just kind of reaffirming what we're already doing, et cetera. um, and so you just have to continually scale your efforts to get better the better you get.